Hi, I'm George, the Weather Dad, and take a look at your upcoming weekend and a sneak preview of what's coming in for next week for those of us right here in the Midwest. And also, we're going to be talking about the tropics as well. First, the temperatures. Not much really going on. We are still seeing some really nice, cool temperatures for this time of year across most of the Great Lakes region and portions of the Midwest. A little bit cooler down in the southeast. That's just because you're seeing a little bit more rain and some cloud cover there. Very chilly off towards the west. But I want you to keep an eye on this area here where we're seeing some very dark reds. That's where the real heat currently is building. Now this is on Friday. Watch what happens here on Saturday. It starts working its way north and a little bit further towards the east. And then here by Sunday, you're seeing it build it almost all the way towards the east coast. So the very nice temperatures that we have been experiencing right here in the Midwest, well, that's going to be changing. And we're also going to see some more humidity too as we work our way into the weekend. Now, as far as next week is concerned, and on your Wednesday, take a look. This really large area, some extreme heat, starts working its way into the Ohio Valley and the Midwest. Still nice and chilly, or reasonably nice up into the Great Lakes, but this area will continue to build as we work our way on into next week. Still though, very unsettled off into the northern Rockies, and that's why you're seeing some cooler temperatures. As far as precipitation is concerned, not much going on, but I do want to direct your attention down here into the southeast. Florida, you have just been inundated with a lot of rain, and what's really weird here, or interesting for this time of year, is the cool air we have right here in the Midwest. Well, those fronts have made their way down into the state of Florida, which means that you're now seeing a lot more precipitation work its way from west to east instead of normally from east to west, and producing some very heavy rainfall and some very, very strong thunderstorms. Now, the problem also is that this time of year, again, this is tropical hurricane season. Anytime you get fronts down in this area, we could see a little spin up at the tail end of these, something we are certainly have to keep an eye on. And we do have, as you can see here, some unsettled weather right off the southeast coast. Now that's on Friday. Here on Saturday, it weakens a little bit, but notice this little bit of energy now dipping down towards the south. I'm going to keep an eye on that. We do have a bit of rain there in the central U.S., but for the most part, it's going to be really fairly dry across most of the country, with the exception of the northwest. Notice that little bit of energy. Remember, it dropped down. Now it's just off the southwest coast of Florida. Once again, this is something we're going to have to keep an eye on. This is on Sunday now. We do have a little bit of another weakness moving its way through the central U.S., but not much going on as far as precipitation. So again, fairly dry. Those of us right here in the Ohio Valley Midwest, we may have to start thinking about watering our gardens as well as our lawns once again, as we really are starting to dry out. Some rain up in the northeast, but nothing again all that drastic at that point. And then by next Wednesday again, that energy, remember I showed it to you, it started right there in the southeast, dropped south, and then scooting its way in. It's showing something by next Wednesday, potentially there, heading on into the northwestern portions of the Gulf. We will have to keep an eye on that. We do have a system moving through the Great Lakes. You kind of see it up in that area. But for the most part, again, pretty quiet across the country. As far as the tropics are concerned, really pretty quiet. Still a lot of dust coming off of Africa. Looks like a pretty good wave by next Wednesday coming off. We will have to keep an eye on that. But for the most part, still fairly quiet around the tropics. That's a look at your upcoming weekend and into next week. I'm George, the Weather Dad.